Okay, so I don't know where we're gonna go here with this. I was listening to the Trey show and also had other thoughts about like Trey songs versus tab songs versus Phish songs versus cover songs. And then you might also, as I look at myself, you might also be wondering, like, dude, what is going on? The mustache, the hat, now the lack of sleeves. Well, my plan is just to throw you guys off with all these different looks and then arrive at the Nutter Center with a completely different look. Then nobody will recognize me, hopefully. Maybe like short gray hair, fake tattoos, I don't know, no mustache, maybe a dyed goatee. I'm not real sure what I'll roll in there looking like exactly, but hopefully nothing like this. All right, so and then when I went into this Trey show, I immediately was like, I don't want to listen to the Phish songs. I just want to hear the stuff that I either haven't heard in a long time, not necessarily sure what it is. There was there's one old Trey song that he doesn't play anymore. I didn't write it down here. Maybe I got it. Oh yeah, Greyhound Rising. I was smart enough to at least pull that up. Now, that's an old Trey song that he just doesn't play very often anymore, or at least hasn't for a while. And then so I listened to that Shaking Outstretched Hand. Came in review. It needs the horns really. Like the last one, I was like, yeah, I'd like to hear some of them old Tab songs. If it's like Came in Review, Night Speaks to a Woman, Cincinnati, Drifting, things like this. But boy, Cayman Reviews definitely needed the horns and the backing vocals, I feel. And then Outside the Lines, he was talking about they're down at the Georgia Theater. Kind of said that's where he met Jimmy Herring. Michael Hauser said he was going to cry just thinking about Michael Hauser. So he's very grateful that everybody was there to see him. And then Oblivion and Dark and Down. Again, I think some of these songs, maybe not the Well, but some of the Quarantine songs. And then like, I don't know, what is The Well and Oblivion? Are they Phish songs? That's what got me thinking. Like, well, is this a Phish song or is this a Trey song? Like, it was debuted by Trey, certain song, and then someone recently, I don't remember exactly what they said, but maybe it was Lonely Trip. Um, they said, like, Lonely Trip is a Phish song. Or I was listing Phish songs and I said Lonely Trip, and I was like, well, that's not really a Phish song. And they were like, yeah, but it is a Phish song. And I was like, yeah, but is that a Phish album? There's like, you got Trey, you got Tab songs, then you got Trey songs, then you got Ghost of the Forest songs, then you got cover songs. Like, there's never any real debate when it's a Mike song. But then you got like 555, but then they end up on a Phish album, then it becomes a Phish song. See, and then like when I'm doing my favorite songs recently, that's like up to 25 of my favorite songs now. Someone inquired about 2001. It's not a Phish song. I'm trying to, and then look, I understand in the spirit, songs like Yamar 2001, even Boogie on Reggae Woman, Funky Bitch, like these songs, they feel like they're Phish songs. And then even things like maybe some of those Trey Quarantine album songs are starting to feel like Phish songs. So I understand, obviously, it's fine if you're like, no, that is a Phish song. But technically they're not, and I certainly don't want to put covers into my like favorite Phish song, a video where I'm talking about my favorite Phish songs. I mean, I think last year someone told me Cross-Eyed and Painless was their favorite Phish song. And then there's the infamous Canadian who was chasing Loving Cup. I mean, that's a little different. He didn't say it was his favorite Phish song, I suppose, but I do think there's a little confusion there. Like I'm down for some covers. I love it when Phish plays Cross-Eyed and Painless and Cities, No Quarter, things like this. But they're not Phish songs. I couldn't put those in my favorite. I mean, especially Cross-Eyed and Painless. Like, that was a pretty good band. That was a pretty good song on its own before Phish ever came along. So, you can't do that to David Byrne. You can't take a David Byrne song and say it's your favorite Phish song. It's disrespectful to so many different people. But then these songs like The Well and Oblivion, the ones that like debuted at the Mission Ballroom, but then quickly made their way to the Phish stage, will they end up on Phish App? Then you got the whole Trey and Page thing when it's just those two. That's closer to Phish. And then Ghost of the Forest at least has Fishman in the band. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to the show a little bit. I like The Well much better with Phish. Some of these songs, like Wave of Hope, man, I can't believe it. But yeah, that's like speaking of that album. This band Phish doesn't really matter. I imagine if it had horns, once that song gets to the jam, it's excellent. Dark and Down. Maybe I didn't like it as much as I did the previous show. I do still like Oblivion. That's actually all I listened to though. And then I did listen to the acoustic theme from the bottom. I had like a Dayton vibe. Trey came through Dayton doing the solo acoustic thing. So he mixed in a little bit of solo acoustic. So you got a little bit of everything there last night in Georgia. And so I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm just not sure. I can't, like, I guess ultimately my thought is I can't put a cover song into as one of my favorite Phish songs. And then I don't know where I stand on like Wave of Hope. It's just not a Phish song. It's a Trey song, right? And then we're still not decided on like Oblivion in the Well. If they end up on an album, if Phish is working on an album somewhere, maybe Trey was just so eager he debuted them with his band there at the Mission Ballroom. I don't know, it all gets confusing and kind of blends together. I don't know. Did I say anything? I really just wanted to show off the guns, I'll be honest. Hope I didn't blind you. Get the guns in the sun. I can't. Damn. Blinding myself like I'm punishing myself because I just blinded you. Not with the guns, with the white skin. Boom.